don't you feel like Hollywood missed the boat on this generation of creators? Aren't you surprised that the majors didn't sign these creators for their feature film projects and went after them hard like you did? Or was it just that they are from different generation talking a different language and it couldn't have been a marriage?
I'd say a few things. I think one is there have been a lot of creators actually approached by larger studios for projects, but in some cases it's actually they're being approached more for their influencing capability than I would say they're creative.
Poster boy, don't look at the script.
Well, no, it's actually I'm going to slot you in a secondary small role, and then you will be my influencer marketer, and you will help promote this thing that I'm doing.
I've seen that a lot on animation movies. Quick voiceover for a minute there, but we overuse that 1 minute of voiceover in your existence in the marketing. Basically, you're going to make almost as much content as the star of the movie, although you only appear for 30 seconds at minute 65.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So I think there has been some involvement there, but I think people kind of coming to you first and foremost for your marketing or your influencing capability. I think there's a lot more work, faith, trust that needs to go in when you're kind of saying, I want you at the table in the creative shaping. And as a lot of the creators that I had the good fortune to work with over the years, I think are first and foremost those that are creative powerhouses. And I would look at their work and I was like, this is amazing. How do I more people need to know about you or work with you? And then spend some time with them. It's like, yeah, they have bigger ambitions and ideas. But sometimes it's like, I don't know actually how to get this thing through, or, if I ever tried to bring it up before, it's not being entertained. Someone just wants me for my influencing capability. And I was like, oh no, yep, get that. But it's like, well, maybe they can keep doing that. And I'll focus on the other side is actually, where there's a real kind of creative powerhouse.
But that's kind of where they miss the beat, because the reason why they influence so much is because to begin with, they were great at creating content that resonated with an audience. So if they hadn't had the imagination, they wouldn't have the audience.
Exactly.
And to miss that part somehow, it's a blatant miss out. It comes from arrogance. You mentioned the bubble. We've all been in the bubble. I guess they were in their bubble and thought YouTube was a smaller bubble and missed something there.
Yeah. I've been involved in pretty big productions with some of these creators and other producers and production companies. I'll talk about maybe a couple ones. One. Actually, there was a really big production that was getting done, and it was first time. So the writer actually wanted to be a first time director, and then their manager actually wanted to be the producer. And so the creator who was the creative kind of powerhouse, who was making frankly the whole thing get a green light. They were getting met with they're an influencer. And so the writer, director, and their manager, now producer, kind of thought we're going to have a lot of control over this thing, because they thought they were just working with an influencer. And then the creator's manager had a chat with the other manager and said, just want to make sure we're all very clear here that this whole thing is happening because this creator is the one who's getting the green light. And they are the boss. So you actually are going to be working for them. They are not working for you. And then the result of that was the writer director had a change of heart and pulled back their script and didn't want to do the project anymore. And I was like, seriously? And yeah, I think with a little bit of pride and ego there.
Ego, yeah.